All right, so I've got the Yamaha 150 on the Hoo Hoo Hunter. We're gonna get it oil changed today. It's 2017 Yamaha 150 4-stroke, super simple. We've got our oil drain plug. It's right down in here, and if you see, I've already got a little bit of oil coming out because I've already cracked that thing loose. I got my drain pan here, so I'm gonna pull that. That's gonna make a mess, and then I'm gonna pack some rags down in around here. And that way I can pull the cap off of that. I haven't fired the motor in probably 2 weeks, so we shouldn't have any oil in there. Shouldn't be an excess amount, so hopefully that's the case. But I'll still stuff some rags down around there just to make sure we don't have any issues. And then you can see we got some gook there. I'm gonna clean that off while I'm in there too, just to clean that area up a little bit before we send it back out. But our fill, obviously your checker's there. We got our fill here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll pull this out and get this thing draining, and maybe I can do this one-handed, see if I can make a mess with y'all on here. That way y'all get to see it. All right. Damn. There we are. Now we're back on it. All right, where's my short ratchet? All right, so we got our socket in there. We got our, turn that to loosen. And let's bust this thing loose just a little bit more, because all I did was barely crack it loose. And then let's see how bad of a mess we can make here. Yep. Uno momento. Alright, so it's right outside of y'all's view here, but you can barely see that socket. I got it up in there. And I'm going to try to do this to where I can keep this from getting everywhere, because I'm sure that's exactly what my father wants on his concrete over here while I'm doing service on my boat. Time to invest in some better tools. Well, like I said, only a little mess. You see that engine oil is 100 hours old and it's dark. So I should be sampling some of this and sending it out so that I could get a analysis on it, make sure it doesn't have a whole bunch of fuel in it or anything else, and that way I can kind of get a maintenance idea of what all's next, what all's coming up. Because the motor is 1,200 hours old and it's got, see, 1,200 hours and 6 years old. So, but as you'll see, we're getting this thing drained out. I'm gonna pack some rags down and around the oil filter, and then I'll pick back up. All right, so we're draining out the last little bit. We're fixing to get our mess cleaned up, but we've got the old sealing ring right here. We got our new one on the drain plug there. So the old one here, you can see it's just a thin piece of metal, but it's soft. So when you tighten that thing down on it, it actually seals. And just in case that thing has got like some sort of, like that's a uniformed edge all the way around, it's supposed to be. But just in case it's got something, that soft metal right here for that sealing ring, it'll conform to it. So that's our oil filter right there. And we're gonna go ahead and take this thing loose while we're on here. Let's go ahead and get that thing loosened up. And you see I packed my rags down and around here, and this thing hadn't been fired up for about 2 weeks, so should be a nice dry, yep, nice and dry there. So make sure I ain't got no nastiness just laying down in there. But we'll go ahead and we'll pre-fill this filter a little bit, let it absorb into it, and then I'll hurry up and flip it over on top of there. So let's just clean up that old edge just in case. And I got my oil over here, so I can dip my finger in that or a little bit of that, and I can put the new oil on the filter here. So let's see. Oh, and it's got a nice little seal. Perfect. All right, so we got her off there. Sweet. Let's compare and make sure it's the same filter. Looks the same to me. Looks the same. 13440.04. 13440.04. Now, there is a definite weight difference. Like, you can feel that one's absorbed quite a bit of oil. This one's nice and light. So let's get us a little bit of oil on here. Smear us a little oil on this O-ring. Smear some oil on that O-ring there, and we'll go ahead and get this thing spun on. So all right, run engine for 3 minutes and check for oil leakage. It's right there. It's literally right there. That's what we do. Okay, I'm gonna get the drain plug put back in, get it tightened up. We'll get this thing filled back up with oil, and then we're gonna hook up the hose, and we're gonna get this thing crunk up so we can check all of our fuel pressures and all that stuff, because we just replaced the VST filter. All right, well, it's time to do the easy part now. And I went ahead on my way to fill this thing. Don't forget, you know, when you got your funnel in there and you got it set all the way down, air's got to escape somewhere. There is crankcase ventilation that comes in through here, but I popped up the oil filter, or the oil dipstick. I popped it out so that any excess air can come through there, and I'm not going to glurg up here. But I've got exactly 5 quarts of oil that I'm putting in here. So if that's not enough, I've got more in the back of the truck. But every one of the manuals says 5.5 quarts, but even the oil change kit you get from Yamaha, it's only 5 quarts. So somebody said it's 4.7 liters with filter, 4.5 liters without. So I did the conversion, and 4.7 liters is 4.966 quarts, so 5 quarts. So we'll get all 5 quarts put in here, and then we'll check it. So that way we'll have us a 100% idea on it. But the lovely part of not having any fingernails. There we go. All right, let's keep her moving. So, if there's anybody that doesn't know this, when you pour oil or anything out of like the jugs and whatnot, you shouldn't pour it with the spout on the bottom. You see how I got the spouts to the side there? So that on the top of that, it can suck air in and it doesn't go glurg, glurg, glurg and spill oil all over the place. It's amazing to me how many people, it's not that they're not smart enough to figure it out, it's that they weren't taught, and it's something that some people just don't look at. It's odd, the things that we find along the way that some people pay attention to, and then there's other times that other people are clueless to it, you know. Everybody's got a different scope of what they look at, a different perspective even. Now, on the oil filter, I said let it run for 3 minutes. So I'm gonna get a set of the dog ears out, and then let that run for a few minutes, keeping water in this thing, because I don't trust that little hose on the side for the washout. I don't trust that to run the motor on. I only trust that to, you know, just to flush the motor out. So I'm gonna let this settle for about, I'd say, I'm gonna let it. I'll level it out there. I'm gonna let it settle for about 5 minutes while I'm cleaning up. Then I'll come back and I'll check the oil level over here on the side. But I'm gonna go ahead and get cleaned up while we're waiting, and then I should be good here. But I'll let that thing drip dry into there for the moment. So we'll be back in a minute. This is the engine oil, just in case anybody's wondering. 1030, and it's their Yamaha's actual formula. It's their stuff. I could run cheaper oil. I could run other oil. In my mind, that's designed for exactly what it's supposed to do in here. That's what I'm gonna run. All right, so I'll pull this out, clean this thing off. It's probably going to be a little high because I've yet to run the engine. But, oh, no, you can see it. It is literally right at the top. You can see on there, maybe you can, maybe you can't. You can see it's right there on that side, and it's right there on that side, right there at the hole, the top hole. So it's filled exactly where it's supposed to be. So when we run it, we'll check it one more time, but I couldn't find the dog ears, so I think what I'm going to do is take it down to the river, back it in, just let this thing run and idle for about 5 minutes, bring it up to temperature, make sure I don't have any fuel leaks from changing out the VST, make sure I don't have any other oil leaks, make sure the impeller's working, because we've just changed that out as well. That's the end of the oil change there. So if y'all will, if you could like and subscribe, any of the subscribers that we're getting, we're right at 1,000, getting right there. You know, we're like 38 away. So I'm hoping that in the next week or two, we'll have that 1,000 subscribers. And I've started picking up my video content again so that we can get some more videos out and start getting those watch hours up. If y'all will, like and subscribe and just share the videos to your friends. You know, I know this is something that this is going to be randomly came upon, and when people are looking for how to do this. But I just want everybody to understand, it's all nuts and bolts. Everybody, this is just nuts and bolts. If somebody else put it together, we can take it apart and put it back together as well. So don't get discouraged about the task of it and thinking that it's going to be, you know, something extremely hard. It's not. That's really not. So anyways, y'all have a good day. All right, so we just got down to the river here and lowered the motor in, and let's see if this thing will fire off. I just reached down and I pumped the handball about, I don't know, a dozen times. There we go. Freshly fired up. Let's see if we can see this thing. Has it got a, oh, it's not doing its thing. That's cool with the lines. All right, so
would you